All right, we are live. This is the first episode of Fusebox Engaged that I'm doing all fancy. My title thing didn't work, but that's okay. Uh, so I am here with Marl Mavel, who I'm a big fan of mostly from your Twitter shit posts.
Yeah, I get a lot of people off of my shit posts.
But I think I first saw you online. Like the first time I saw you, I liked your account because of your just saying.
I am the just saying.
Anytime, anytime somebody mentions sayings, I'm on board.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. Um, in fact, it's like the only anime I watch, and it's pretty much because I don't even consider it anime, really. But I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan.
Same here. I love the mythos behind Dragon Ball. I love everything that it built up to, because like I love how it started off as a completely different type of show and just gradually became what it is.
I
Mostly
almost
because
wish the subject was Dragon Ball.
no, I'm gonna be doing Dragon Ball stuff too.
All right,
I just like I wanted to talk a little bit about Final Fantasy because I remembered like a while back you and I kind of had a little like fun exchange, and you were talking about how 6 was your favorite.
Yep.
And 7 is my favorite. So,
No, seven is a close tie for first. And it's like really close tie. But I think where I give 6 the win is that it was my first Final Fantasy title. So like the
Oh
nostalgia
yeah.
is there. So when I think Final Fantasy, I think the cast of 6. I think the storyline of 6. You know what I mean? I think the world of 6. And then everything else, I consider it like the loosely based sequel.
I totally get where you're coming from with that. Like, weirdly enough, the first Final Fantasy I played was actually 8. And it's
Really?
funny. Yeah, and it's funny because like when I rented it from a Blockbuster, and when I first got it, I thought I was renting 7 because I got the Roman numeral wrong. And as I was playing it, I'm like, "Where's this guy named Cloud I was hearing about? Like, who's this Squall guy?" Like, and so I just named him Cloud because I thought that's how you do it.
I wonder how many people like riding the nostalgia to 7 went ahead and called Squall Cloud.
And they're actually kind of close. Like, there's similar types of names, like about weather patterns.
They're also like the very similar type of protagonist, like the silent, manly femboy dude.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
the internalized torturing themselves.
right.
Kind of thing.
I feel sometimes that 8 was taking the idea of Cloud as a character and expanding just on the personality.
I can see that. I mean, I always thought of Cloud as being slightly less angry than Squall was.
See, I saw his anger is not the type that's shown. So there's different ways that one expresses anger, and I always saw Clouds as the most dangerous. He's calm in his
Yeah,
anger. You know what I mean? Like the most dangerous type of angry is the person that has come full circle and now they're calm in their anger,
yeah.
you know? And that's how I always saw Cloud as it, you know what I mean? Like he had enough so long ago that he couldn't even say how angry he was.
Oh man, see, I always thought of Cloud as being just kind of slightly more laid back, and the main reason I thought of that was just because, like, he's very he comes off a lot like your typical RPG protagonist from that era, in my opinion, in that like they kind of had a nebulous personality because it was sort of supposed to fit your personality. That's how I thought of it.
I mean, I can totally see that. But like I said, it's just like by the end of the game, like the opinion that I formed of Cloud, like you take in consideration. So he liked the pretty girl in town. She couldn't care less about him. He saves her life. She barely remembers him. You know what I mean? Because his memories ended up so scrambled, he had a very poor grasp of the timeline of his actual life. So imagine, you know, so I just see him as this guy that has gone through so much where his life is pieced together in random memories to the point that his anger had boiled over.
Oh yeah, I totally see that.
You know?
I mean, like that. I still like. It took me a couple of playthroughs to completely understand the story, which is part of what I love about that game. It's
It
just
was a
like
tough story to get. It was a tough story to get at first.
yeah, it was a mind fucker, you know, like because it like 3/4 of the way through, they kind of rip the rug from under you and telling you, oh, like your character isn't who you thought he was.
Right. I remember for a good amount of time afterwards, I used to tease people, and I was like, if you like Cloud, you actually really like Zach. You know what I mean? Like, who you like is Zach. It's just they didn't show you Zach first.
I felt, yeah, God, like after playing Crisis Core, like that's what really made me, that's what made
that
my heart bleed for Zach.
that was an anxiety-filled ride for me because it was essentially a prequel, and you know what happens.
And
So
they still
playing
managed to
Crisis
get you
Core to
hooked.
me was like the first time I watched Revenge of the Sith. I knew what was going to happen by the end.
Yeah.
And like every time Sephiroth showed up, I was like, oh my God, no. Oh my God. And he's just being friendly to you. And he's just like, oh, hey, what's up, bro? You're doing really good. That's cool. And you're like, no, 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 screw you. Screw you. Screw you, world killer. And no, I'm serious. My whole playthrough of Crisis Core was like anxiety written because I was like, I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was just really like the whole time my heart was just kind of wrenching for him. And at the same time, I was being annoyed as shit by Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis drove me nuts, mainly because like he wouldn't stop repeating that effing poem. It's like we get it. We've heard it 3 or 4 times already. We get it. We know what you're talking about.
It's a very like overused trope in the JRPG that you have that character that will just keep repeating their line. You'll even find it like manifested like in even something like Pokemon. You'll always have that rival who does like the same move and the same line, and he always has the same vigor, and you're like, oh my God, stop, go away. like that's it. Like I'm gonna beat you. Like that's even how the story's written. Like you're not even supposed to win this fight, so stop it.
Yeah, Genesis. Yeah, I did not like Genesis. I liked Angeal.
And so I did enjoy Crisis Core, but I'm a stickler for adding to lore.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, I'm like, all right, so how much freaking happened before 7? Because you keep adding all these people.
Exactly.
We've never heard of them before. You know?
Yeah. No, I totally get what you mean by that.
It gets to a point, like even I felt the same way about the Clone Wars cartoon. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was awesome. But I was like, all right, so how much happened before the movies? Because like all of this stuff seems really significant and no one talks about it. You know? Like, no, I'm serious. Even something like when they call it, you know, they call it an ancient religion. Really, bro? Because like 7 years ago, there was like, it was just like everywhere. And the mission was eradicating the last of the Jedi that remained somehow. You know what I mean? And you have like Ahsoka. There's no way Ahsoka is considered an ancient religious figure. Stop it. I mean, even if you think about it, that she's alive for that conversation. So while they're having that conversation, Darth Vader and his little minion, Ahsoka Tano is alive somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Um,
that's the danger about like going back and like trying to do a prequel is that you got to be careful about, you know, fitting in with the already pre-established canon. Because I mean Dragon Balls did that recently where they totally retconned Bardock. Um, I wasn't a fan of that, honestly.
Now I have a funny theory when it comes to Dragon Ball. Um, None of the series are actual continuations, they're loosely based sequels. Because if you really think about it, Dragon Ball Z kind of retconned Dragon Ball because the original creator of the androids is Dr. Frapp, not Dr. Gero. So they did
Oh
their fair
shit.
share of retconning. And then even something like Super. Super isn't an actual sequel. It's like a loosely based continuation. Because um, we're getting to the point where they're about to undo the canon ending of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, definitely.
You know? So you can't even consider it like, and everybody gets mad at me. Now my opinion is always going to be Dragon Ball Super is the better series, but Dragon Ball GT was the better sequel. You
Hmm.
know, Dragon Ball GT was an actual sequel to Z. It continued you know what I mean? It continued their natural trajectory. Um, my biggest complaint about Super was when they introduced a God of Destruction. One, they undid or pretty much retconned their lore as far as deities. And,
Yeah.
you should never have like a god as a main character.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like it just, especially when it's like, can we stop this fake built up what's the word I'm looking for? So we're all on edge about Beerus destroying things. He's not going to destroy nothing. The series has to have a next episode.
Well, like, see, I kind of see. Here's the thing. I like Beerus. Like, that's my thing. Is
I mean, I like him. I disagree with his presence in the series,
I can respect that. I just
but I
in,
do like him. He's a good character. He's a great designed character. Um, I do like the character a lot. It's just one of those characters that I felt should have stayed in the movie and stayed in the movie.
I can see that. Especially like I understand like the complaint a lot of people have about like, oh well, if the gods show up to solve every problem, then there's no tension. Like I get that complaint 100%.
Like the resurrection, the Frieza, the Golden Frieza movie. Um, Frieza destroys everything. Whis just undoes it. Well,
Yeah.
all right, so I'm never on the edge of my seat for anything.
Yeah.
Even the Tournament of Power, which was explosively awesome. I mean, beyond awesome. I loved the Tournament of Power, but the whole time I'm like, yeah, now hurry up and win because you're not gonna lose. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna lose, and like there was no, like I wasn't invested like I was in, let's say, another saga. So I was invested in the Goku Black saga because there was an antagonist, there was a build-up, characters we love are in peril. They've brought back people. They're utilizing a lot of stuff from the past. Great arc, even though the whole timey-wimey wibbly-wobbly thing was a little off.
Yeah.
But it's like there was no build in the Tournament of Power. Like Jiren's awesome as a concept, but not as a villain.
Oh, definitely. Like I totally see that, especially like I just for me the reason I like where they've been going with Super was just that I always thought with how strong Goku was getting and also with the fact that he was basically trained by gods like early on in his life, I just kind of saw him going to sort of a more celestial place. And so I think it's kind of fitting that he's being trained by powerful gods now and stuff, and he's
See,
basically become one.
I would like that if Goku wasn't retconned into being stupid.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You
he
know what I
was
mean?
always kind of dumb.
Well, no, he was a simple man.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between a simple man and a man that doesn't know what a kiss is, even though he's been married for decades.
I thought that was funny.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, no, Goku knows what a kiss is. That Goku knows what a kiss is. Like, he's been married for decades. Like, there's been plenty of times he's like, all right, Chi-Chi, I'm off to train. All right, give me a kiss.
Yeah, well, I know he knows what sex is. I mean,
he definitely enjoys that.
unless by some oddity he just didn't know what he was doing at that point.
Although at the same time, in my mind, I've always had a headcanon of the whole time he's doing it, he's thinking of training. Like, he's just going through the motions, but he's like, oh man, if I put my foot forward just one more half an inch, I'll have a better stance perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he just gets to clear his mind for a bit. Like, it's relaxing, and he's like, oh man, that last time me and Vegeta fought, like, he hit me. If I would have moved my head to the left just one more degree, you know? And she's like, oh, that was great. And he's like, I agree. And then he goes, finds Vegeta.
I could see Chi-Chi getting violent at that point.
Yes. I mean, without, like, I don't want to, like, make the stream naughty, but I would think all of that plays into the entirety of the complexities of what would be Goku and Chi-Chi's marriage. But we should probably talk about Final Fantasy.
Well, speaking of awesome relationships, you know, I love the Cloud Tifa relationship. I don't like the Cloud Aerith relationship.
I agree.
I never have. And like after I played Crisis Core, it made me really kind of hate Aerith because when you play through the original 7, you remember when she meets up with Cloud in the park, and he asks about her first boyfriend. She's kind of like, "Oh yeah, we were together. It wasn't really serious though. Like, he was more of a ladies' man, you know, and he probably moved on." And then you play Crisis Core and you realize he died trying to go see her for one last time. It's like, wow, you forgot about his ass real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It could be all, because remember, it's perspective. Crisis Core is Zack's perspective.
True.
And I wouldn't say it's uncommon for a lot of guys to see that there's something more with a really hot chick than there is.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Poor Zack.
You know what I mean? I could preach to the choir all you want, you know?
Poor Zack.
But that doesn't, and then also, I don't know. So, like, if Aerith existed in real life, she would be the free spirit, hairy armpit vegan girl.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
She may not feel as much a connection to a man that's falling for her as he, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's
she's
something
one with
to
the
take
earth.
into consideration. You're not talking to a regular girl who has regular girl ambitions. You're talking about the last person that hears the whispers of the earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you want to take things like that in consideration. That Aerith isn't exactly like some girl who's like, oh my god, the cute guy likes me.
And well, you know, the 7 remake has also established that I think she's pretty much aware of the time anomaly going on in all that weird multiverse crap they got going on.
I didn't play it, and I don't feel like playing it at all. No, I'm like that. I don't because I don't want to sound like I'm crapping on it either, because, you know, I mean, I think it's awesome when people find stuff that they love and want to play. Like, I'm pro that. It's just, I'm not a big fan of bringing things back. And if you are, like, I mean, Chrono Trigger, not Chrono Cross. Like, they're doing, like, even they're doing like a remaster of Chrono Cross, and I'm like, please, Chrono Trigger.
Oh god, Chrono Trigger is such a classic.
And I'm going to go ahead and allow talking about that, because you could almost extend that into the Final Fantasy family via the Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, definitely. And plus, I mean, they sold it along with Final Fantasy IV back in the day.
Yep.
So I mean, you know, it's SquareSoft. So I mean, and SquareSoft
And
is,
it's Akira Toriyama art, which
I
I've always
know,
loved.
that was the best. The merging of those two
I
was like
mean,
we needed more of that.
oh God, that was, yes, we needed more of that. We need, oh my God, we needed more of that. That would be awesome. I would watch, like, so I would watch a Chrono Trigger anime faithfully,
Definitely.
faithfully every day.
Oh, definitely. Like that was, yeah, that game was really, I would say it's kind of like lightning in a bottle in that it's
It's
like it was
it.
the perfect JRPG in so many ways.
I think it may be the greatest game on the Super Nintendo.
I'd see. I don't
I
know
just put
too
it out there.
much.
I just
I don't
said
know
that.
too much Super Nintendo. That's why I'll have to take your
See,
word
I'm a
for
little.
it.
I am a bit older. I am a bit older. I will admit, I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore. So I did have a lot of time with the Super Nintendo. Um, and let me just say that game was just magnificent in every single way. I can't even find a flaw with that game.
Yeah.
I mean, even down to the actual gameplay itself. Like, I'll replay that game. I have it on my old DS, and
Nice.
um, that's one of the very few games that exist that I can completely start from scratch and play through anytime.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I can replay that. I can replay 7 and 8 for the most part, even though I've played 8 so much at this point. Like I've memorized every single beat in that game.
Now, believe it or not, I have never played a Final Fantasy game more than once. Like,
Wow.
I can't do it. I can't do it. But it's because when I played them, I clocked such heavy hours grinding. I couldn't
Yes.
imagine doing that again.
That was my thing when I was a kid. Like I loved training in those things. And I mean, the thing about like 8, like one of the things people complained about with 8 was the fact that, like, you know, they thought the battle system was hard to figure out, or the junction system was hard to figure out. And that actually was what I liked about it, was the fact that it took me a while to really get it down. So it had a lot of replayability for me. And I didn't beat it until like I think I turned like 18 or something.
Really? See, now here's the funny thing. I beat it when I was 18, but because I was 18 when I bought it.
Ah, shit.
Like I said, I'm not a spring chicken. Um, no, I'm not. I'm not. I try to be. I try to look as spring chickeny as I can, but that's a whole other conversation. But no, the junction system in 8, it was a little weird at first, but I want to say once you got the hang of it, it was a really cool game mechanic.
Yeah, it was different from the other kind of stuff you were used to, like being able to use magic as like almost like an accessory.
Right. It was like an item.
Yeah, that was I thought that was fun. And I mean, and I just loved the story so much of 8, even though like I felt like toward the end of the game I wish there were certain aspects that were more fleshed out, but it's like the Squall Renoa love story really took center stage, and it's like everything else kind of fell into the background. And I wanted to see more stuff. Like I wanted to see more of like what happened with Cypher and like the sorceress.
Now,
Like I wanted to, and I wanted to
no,
get
go
a
on.
little
Finish
bit
your
more
thought.
lore.
8, I really loved 8 because, if you look at it, like the theme of 8 was love. And I'm a
Yeah,
sucker for a love story.
I'm a sucker
Um,
for like a well done love story.
well, you know what I mean. Of course, you always want to have the best of the best. But it that was a really good addition too, especially because like 7 really denied you a love story. It had nothing to do with that. The theme of 7 was life,
Yep.
and making sure life existed. So there was no real room for a love story in 7. And I actually kind of think that's a good thing by the end
Yeah.
of it. But 7 just, I mean, but 8 just like turned that around. And I think that was pretty awesome.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think Renoa's outfit is still kind of is like really iconic to me. Like
Yep.
we need to see more women wearing Renoa's clothes.
I like the characters in 8 a lot. I like them a lot, especially because like I consider it like it was like it was like a teen drama show. It was like pretty white kids with problems, and like it
Oh,
just,
hell yeah.
and it really just it struck out good. It was good. I liked Zell. Like I loved his vigor. He he should have been aggravating as hell to me, because
I
usually
actually,
I hate those type of characters, but something about him every time he came on, it was like, yeah, bro, let's go. Like, let's go, bro.
Zell actually reminded me a lot of a guy I grew up with. So it's very personal for me.
That and the tattoo on his face was a good touch to me. As I would eventually grow to be a tattoo artist. So it was like, that tattoo on the face is like, oh, this dude's badass, man. Let's go. Let's go.
I just remember like he was definitely that ADHD type of kid who, like just couldn't control his excitement and it
No,
got on people's nerves.
Zell was literally like a Pokemon trainer rival. Like that was his personality, but because he wasn't showing up to interrupt your story, it finally landed. No,
It's
I'm
true though.
dead serious. You know what I mean? Like he didn't come and stop your progress. He was part of your progress. And he was pretty beast if you trained him.
Yeah, like my favorite 8 character of all of them was Irvin.
Ooh, oh, I know you don't want to hear this, but he was so beautiful too. Oh my God,
Oh,
he
I
was
don't
so
mind.
beautiful too. Oh, you are?
No, I just don't mind.
Oh, okay. All right. Um, yeah, no, and he was like so beautiful. And it's just, he was a really good design character.
He was my favorite because his look was really cool to me, but also it was that one part in the game when he was supposed to be the sniper to take out the sorceress and
And he choked.
he had his panic attack. Like
He
that scene
choked.
was like that was the most real scene to me in a fantasy game.
Yeah.
Like I could totally see that like something like that happening to me,
Yeah,
like
and
where it's
but
like
the
you just
best
have a
part
panic
was,
attack.
the way they presented it with the constant like cutting back and forth. You got into both sides of the view.
Yeah.
Um, so where you felt that anxiety, immediately you were like, "Oh, come on, bro."
Yep. It was down to the wire.
And you're like, "Oh, bro, we plant this. You bragged. You're Gambit, bro. I named you Gambit, and I've been pretending you have a Cajun accent." That's what I did. I knew.
See, now I
But tell me
now
that
I
isn't perfect.
now I can see that. Like I never thought of that before. Holy shit.
You know, like just, and I'm telling, and 90s X-Men cartoon Gambit. Boom.
Shit, you're right. Holy crap.
I'm telling you, that's how I heard him in my head.
Oh my god. But yeah, like that to me, like that scene when he had his breakdown, that was the most real shit I had seen in a Final Fantasy up to that point.
Honestly, to me, the realest scene I ever saw is the cliche when Sephiroth killed Aerith. That made me cry. I was only 16. I didn't see it coming. It was so heartbreaking. Like, I had to go downstairs and my mom had to give me a hug because she had no idea what was going on. And by the time I said it, she did her like, "Are you serious?" and like kind of pushed me away and kept on watching it. But it was like, oh my god, oh my god, like, did they just kill a main character? You can't do that. And like the whole, oh my goodness, the song, just the whole Air's theme. Like the first time you hear it, you're like, oh, that's so serene, that's so calm, that represents her. Then she dies, and you're like, oh my god, you did it on purpose.
Oh
Like that
yeah.
song is meant to hit you when she dies. You guys are bastards. American
Oh
games
God.
don't do this to you. What are you doing?
And it's like how the theme would play soft each time the materia tapped on the ground.
I mean, to this day, when I need a good cry, I put on her theme.
See, for me, the one Final Fantasy where I can't play the ending without crying is Final Fantasy X.
I didn't like 10 that much.
Oh shit.
I mean, I played it. Like, I enjoyed it as far as playing a video game, but I wouldn't put it like that high. I would put Tactics above that if you ever played Final Fantasy
Oh
Tactics.
yeah. Oh, I
That
totally can see that.
that was one of my favorite stories. I probably like really top up there. Like I really put Final Fantasy Tactics story on a pedestal.
No, I can definitely see that. Like Tactics, yeah, like I played Tactics a lot later than I played the others, and I was impressed with the political intrigue of that game.
I think that was the greatest way to put politics into a video game
Oh,
because
most
it
definitely.
criticized every single aspect of every single side, including every side of the religious argument.
Oh,
It
most
was a
definitely.
flawless political game.
Yeah, no, I mean like how you basically learn how members of the church are actually these demons.
Right. And but like even worse. So there's members of the church that want to take over because they're influenced by demons that they don't even know are demons.
Yeah, they
Like
think they're saints.
the whole meta is so just and I'm like and once again, I'm not a spring chicken. So I was like 16 when that game came out. So that blew me away. And then of course gave me my favorite Final Fantasy iteration of Sid, Thunder God Sid. Sidolphus
Ooh.
Orlando was like God mode, overpowered, game breaking, and I loved it.
Well, see, the iconic Sid to me is always Sid Highwind. I mean, he's who I think of when I think of Sid. Like,
See, I tend to think of them all because I can't discount Sid from 6. You know, and oh, and I
yeah.
managed to save his life. He didn't die in my game. Like I brought him back to health. So I never had to experience the sadness of him dying. I brought him back to health, and if you do save him, you can always go back to the island. And like when you walk inside, he like rushes to bed, and he's like, "I'm not doing anything," which it's sweet. It's sweet. It's pretty sweet.
But yeah, no, like 10 is the one, like the ending of 10. I can't get through it without tearing up. Like when, basically Titus, in order to, when they defeat Sin finally permanently, which in many ways, like I think 10 kind of explored similar themes to Tactics,
Mm-hmm.
except it wasn't quite as political. It was more just about religion and like the overall I guess strictness of the hierarchy.
Right.
Now it's like, this perpetuating the constant cycle. Um, but no, the end where like Titus essentially sacrifices his own freaking existence, like not even just like his life, like his existence to save the world. And when Yuna finally tells him that she loves him and he just disappears, like that shit gets me every time.
Good moments, man. It it's one of those series that you could just keep picking apart for like really, really good parts. Because even on the whole criticism of religion in a good way, we could skate right back to Chrono Trigger, and the whole sequence with the Kingdom of Zeal was a perfect example of taking theology over the natural order. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Through the sunstone and all of the natural energies of the earth, they got zeal into the sky. And when they abandoned it for a new god, Lavos, everything crumbled.
Oh, definitely.
You know? Oh my god, I love that game.
I also we kind of skipped over a little bit, but I have to give special love to Final Fantasy 9. 9 was
I mean, I played it. Once again, not one of my favorites. I think it's because the way they shot down in graphics, like it just punched me in the gut, because I was part of the no way, man, I need good graphics generation.
Yeah.
So it punched me. So I like 9 isn't memorable at all to me.
9, it was pretty good in terms of the story. Like, it was very Shakespearean. Like that, it was supposed to be built off of a lot of Shakespeare's type of tropes. And I mean, even the time period, like the Renaissance type of era, it's very, in all the beats. Like the character of Vivi, that is like a tragic little character, because he's this little 9-year-old boy who learns that he was created to destroy, essentially, and he's got a very limited lifespan. And most of the game is him coming to terms with this, and by the end he's already dead, and he's kind of left a memoir. And it was really good. I would criticize the fact that in many ways Titus kind of reminded me, like, his story was a lot like Goku's. Like, it was very he's sent to this planet from another planet to destroy it. He forgets his original mission. He falls in love with it, and both of them have monkey tails.
It's true. It's true. Goku's story, in a way, can make me sad if I think about it in a certain way. You know what I mean? Because he's always been a stranger. And you can make the case that he really did get brain damage when he was dropped as a kid.
Oh, that's actually what I always took as canon. Like, I always thought, like, the reason he's so slow with things is because he got brain damage.
Right. Goku is the Forrest Gump of anime protagonists.
It's true.
You really think of it. Oh, I remember this one time that I was trying to take a vacation, and the gods came down. I had to put a butt whooping on them. It was nice. I got a brand new power. I got to show Vegeta. We do a lot of training. It's pretty nice.
And it's the fact that it's like, yeah, Vegeta's like Lieutenant Dan, because he's get the fuck away from me.
Oh my god, thank you. We just made a great connection right there. That is true. Yeah, Vegeta's like, screw you. What do you want? What are you gonna do? It's the truth. I mean, Vegeta's story is heartbreaking.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
This guy, although they never really get into it, clearly his mother died.
Yep.
His father really doesn't care about him in that way.
He sees him as an extension of himself.
Right. So nobody has more pressure to be the greatest than Vegeta. And then everything's gone. Everything is gone. And, no one ever stops to think, like, Vegeta went from a life of luxury, being the prince, to basically just some dude living, like, amongst, like, some small little battalion in an army. Like, he's in the middle of the war, like, in a shitty little battalion.
Oh yeah, even though like I think the anime of Z tried to make it out to where it seemed like Frieza kind of liked Vegeta in a certain way, like he kind of liked his potential.
And even then, I would make the case that he liked him in a racist way.
Oh well, yeah,
If
he
that
he
makes
thinks of
sense.
he thinks of the Saiyans as a lesser race, no doubt.
Exactly. And therefore, like, so like you're like his whipping boy. Oh, I like
Yeah.
this one. This one's a good one.
Oh yeah.
You know? And even then, that turned around on him. No matter what he does, he'll never be the strongest. He has no kingdom.
Yeah, they did Vegeta dirty in that Resurrection
No,
of F
they did
movie.
Yamcha dirty.
Oh man, that's
Because
going way back.
Yamcha is one of my favorite characters, and I hate what they did to him.
The fact that they basically just forgot him.
Well, I mean, I really am against how they forgot the main cast as a whole.
The main one I wanted to see more of, especially like in modern stuff, was like Tien.
Tien had so much potential, and they kind of see the thing is, you got to go with what's going to sell. Goku sells.
Yeah.
If you're going to give more power, you give it to Goku.
Yeah.
Period. Because who made the most sense to train with Hit would have been Tien, an assassin.
True.
Imagine Tien with Hit's training.
And
Done.
especially like I think with like the whole reason Tien had that third eye was supposed to be like it was his connection to his chi.
Right.
They were trying to do the third eye comparison and they just kind of dropped that for whatever reason.
Like even today, I think I was driving to work, and I had like the idea in my head, like imagine when the android showed up and they grabbed Yamcha, right? Instead of him being, just weak and dying, that as they were grabbing him, he suddenly like kind of gave like that angry smile, tightened his fist and just blew up and was like Kaioken, because obviously he would have learned it with King Kai. That would have been awesome, and Yamcha could have put up a fight until they showed up.
Yeah, that's true. We never got to really see them progress beyond like the Ginyu Force.
Right? They never they acted like they wouldn't have benefited at all from being with King Kai.
Yeah.
And I think that was a huge disservice. I hate what they did to Piccolo. Um,
Yeah.
Piccolo should be so much stronger right now.
Well, especially during Super, I was annoyed when he was in the tournament and they were pulling that shit of like, oh, does he stand a chance against Frost? And it's like, oh no, he doesn't. And it's like, well, what do you mean? Like he was just as powerful as Android 17 back in the Android
All
saga.
right.
You'd think he'd be able to take on a Frieza lookalike.
Frieza. Now, Android 17 is one of the very few characters I'll make a defense for the sudden power boost. And the only reason I make a defense is Android 17 doesn't get tired.
Yeah.
Android 17 doesn't have to stop training. He doesn't have to recuperate. He doesn't even have to eat.
That's
Like,
true.
he
Even
can
though,
just
well,
continually go. So I can see him increasing and boosting his power because he is organic at the core. So if you start to boost your organic and your cybernetics would give a multiplication to your organics, he would have gotten such a huge power boost by just training on his own.
yeah, I was skeptical about it when I first saw it, but then during the Tournament of Power when he was the MVP, like I enjoyed his
Oh, he
his
was
tactical
great.
moves.
Oh, the ending of the tournament, I mean, I could watch it over and over again. I really have to say, I enjoyed seeing Frieza and Goku work together. I
Yeah,
thought it was a great full circle.
I totally agree with that statement because that's exactly how I saw it.
You know, especially when he was like, yo, you need to throw me. What? Yo, throw me at him. And he's like, all right, yo, bet. I see what you're doing.
It
Like, that
was
was
just,
tight. Like, I mean, think about those final moments. They were like, no, just keep pushing him. No, don't even fight him anymore, bro. Let's just push him.
yep.
Oh,
And
I'm
I just,
hyped.
and I love how they did and it was just great to see that juxtaposition of how like the big iconic moments in Z where those shots you'd get of like Frieza and Goku, like when they're back to back or when they're like facing each other and they got the different energy colors. And it was just those moments where they show like them side by side during the tournament. Like it was very, it was like you were saying, it was the full circle effect of, okay, now they're combining their efforts instead
Right.
of working against each other.
Especially when you think, like, Goku had the habit of turning enemies into allies. And to see it finally happen with Frieza was pretty fulfilling.
Oh yeah, even though like I know that Frieza's he's not gonna convert,
No, and I don't want him to. No, Frieza is probably the series' greatest villain. Cell was great, don't get me wrong. But there's something about Frieza, because Frieza is evil for the sake of being evil.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said. Like, Cell, at the end of the day, was fulfilling programming. Boo
Yep.
really had no objective.
Yeah, Boo just destroyed indiscriminately because that was basically his nature.
That's all he did. You know what I mean? So Frieza is that one villain that just stands out as he's just evil because he wants to be.
Yep.
He doesn't have to destroy anybody. Just being as strong as he is and already being in charge is enough. But he goes down and kills things. And he insults them. And he's a racist. Like, he's probably the greatest villain there is.
Yeah, he is pretty I mean, like all those times, especially like when he would, just those shots in Z when he killed Namekian kids and all that, and he was just sitting there laughing and smiling. It was just like, holy crap! Like this, it's gone beyond a cartoon, Like,
I mean, bro, he was racist to the end. Because when everybody was cheering on Goku, he said, "Dance, monkey." Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, that's the greatest villain ever. Like, he is going to antagonize you even when he's on your side cheering you on. No, I'm serious. Like, replace that with any derogatory race statement that applies to a human being. Good job. Insert that word.
Oh, I know.
Like he's the greatest.
No, I mean, like,
like, you just want to hate this guy, and that's awesome. Like, I like, and that's another thing I love about the Final Fantasy series. By the end of the game, the main antagonist is so irredeemable, it feels good to take them out. Like, it feels good to take out Kefka in 6. Oh, hey, you still with me? What happened?
hello?
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Oh, hey.
No, that was my internet. It got weird.
Oh, okay. I gotta plug in my phone and stay in one spot because it's actually close to dying. I know. I'm glad I looked down and realized.
Oh man, no, but yeah, I've been enjoying this. Like, I love I love talking about Final Fantasy. I love talking about Dragon Ball. If you ever want to come back to talk about Dragon Ball more,
No,
I'm
we
totally
have to have some good Dragon Ball discussions. Because like I love to break down the series because I'm one of those fans that I love something so much I hate it. You know what I mean? So for as much as I love it, I can like crap on it in the worst way.
Oh, like I mean, especially since Toriyama himself pretty much like forgets his own canon like
Right,
every 2 weeks.
right. You know, I just and that's what sucks because that's what leads to my whole opinion that each series isn't a continuation. It's like a loosely based like sequel reboot,
Yeah.
you know? Because when you stop and think that, like, so you go back and think of the Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, and you're like, oh, he was just like a super powered alien the whole time. Like, it isn't this special curious child with a tail. No, he's just like he's overpowered. No human had a chance against him. You know, it makes it like a tiny less special.
No, I totally see where you're coming from with that. Like completely. Because I know like Dragon Ball was originally sort of like a satirical version of Journey to the West. And over time it developed into something different.
Much different. I mean, even stop and think. Oh well, if Goku didn't stop Frieza, he would have just killed Goku, and then like I don't know, maybe 20 years later, Beerus would have woke up and killed Frieza. You know? Like, really think about that. Like, when
Yeah,
you bring in someone like Beerus, you rewrite a lot of stuff.
that's true, but I mean they're sort of covering their butts with that in that the whole like the god of destruction doesn't choose sides, doesn't, he's not supposed to directly interfere in certain things. Like his main duty is to
But he
destroy
certainly went and
planets.
talked to King Vegeta.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was hoping to be worshipped. Like I think he was flexing his god
And
mod.
then even that, I don't know. It's like I said,
As
I like
dirty
the
as that
character,
sounds.
but I felt that introducing such a high deity of
Oh no.
importance so late to make him
Technical
such a main
difficulties.
character. That was always my beef with Beerus. You know, I will say I absolutely love Whis. That's that. If Super made me happy in any way, it was bringing Whis into my life
Oh yeah, no, I do love Whis.
because he's like a beautiful femboy angel.
I liked Whis a lot because first I just love the angel style of fighting, and I love the Ultra Instinct concept. Because for me, like what the manga makes more like clearer than the anime does, it feels like full circle in terms of Goku's training with like Mr. Popo and Kami
All
back in the
right,
day.
now I'll present this to you. I always thought in my mind Goku should not have been who went Ultra Instinct. It should have been Gohan. I think that would have
Okay,
been the logical next step to his unlocked potential.
that's actually a really good theory or a
You
really
know what
good
I
point.
mean? Like, I would have loved to see Gohan come back out again.
That's what I think he may come back out again. Maybe, but I
I
know
mean,
Toriyama kind of
ultimately
put him to
it's
the
always going to
side.
come down to Goku and Vegeta because they sell toys and stuff,
Yeah,
you know? But you know, I just think that you could have naturally progressed everybody to be strong enough to be what they needed to be in there. I mean, even something like Piccolo, you could have just had him go into the room of spirit and time and just say he was in there for like a month and people are like, what the hell? And when he comes out, he just says very silently, I remembered my name. And now
oh
he's
shit,
ascended to Namekian God because he remembers who he was when he first came to Earth because he was ultra powerful.
that
Like
is true.
you can give humongous power adjustments while keeping the lore of the story and like continuing it in a logical way. Like the next logical step for Piccolo is him to truly remember who he was way long ago when he first came to Earth.
Yeah.
And I think that would have justified him being like, and you know, at least on par with the base Super Saiyan God.
I could see that. But I mean, yeah, Gohan though, Gohan definitely needs something because I mean, they've already stated in the series itself and all that Gohan has the highest potential of all the fighters.
Right.
He just doesn't take advantage of it and pisses us off.
You know? I would have loved if they played with the notion of fusion of Tien and Yamcha.
Oh God.
Dude, no, I love those guys. They have like disrespected characters that are beloved.
I think the next step for like the Earth fighters is Kaioken.
Right, at the very least. I think that would have been a great way to give them their own power-ups. Hell, you could even have it so that pretty much just Yamcha relied on it.
Yeah. Yamcha needs it.
Seriously, they crap on him, and I don't understand why.
Well, he hasn't won a single fight in any of the series.
It's true. But at this point, like, I don't know, it's frustrating when you think to yourself, yo, Yamcha's like one of the strongest people on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one he can run into that is even remotely like the fraction of a threat.
Honestly, I think my favorite thing that Super did compared to the others was I love how they brought back Master Roshi out of retirement.
See, now Roshi, I could understand a humongous power boost because you can justify it to, oh, he had it the whole time.
Yeah.
You know? But Roshi didn't interfere because he was old and retired.
Yeah. But I love the fact that they brought him back, like, and they were doing those callbacks to Dragon Ball, like, especially during the tournament.
Oh, Roshi's participation. So I probably wouldn't have put him on the lineup if I picked it, but I certainly appreciated him being there.
Yeah.
I would have much rather have seen Majin Buu.
Yeah, I was really hoping for that. I didn't like the fact that they cut him out of the tournament last minute.
He would have made it very interesting, and I think a fight between him and Ribrianne would have been absolutely awesome.
Oh God. I liked Ribrianne just because I feel like that was just a total like satire of Sailor Moon. That's how I felt.
I liked her and I disliked her at the same time. And the reason I disliked her is because I feel like there was a stage that was missing in her transformations. I think she should have started out as the pretty version of like the blue skin with the pink outfit, and then like progressively turned into what she would ultimately be. Like as she's shown how ugly of a person inside she is. I think that would have been like such a better satire. You know, and then you just keep it going exactly how it was, because like when 18 like ripped her up, that was like, yes. Because I love 18.
Oh God. Well, yeah, she's the perfect resting bitch face.
And
she's
honestly,
got the snark.
If you really think of it, she's the best mom in the series too.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Chi-Chi's a tyrant with her kids.
Overbearing. Bulma is extremely too laid back.
Yep.
Especially when you're dealing with a child that can potentially destroy a chunk of the planet. Well, no, remember, when you're dealing with Trunks, even Goten to an extent, these are ultra powerful beings.
The youngest Super Saiyans in history.
but Super Saiyans nonetheless.
Yep.
Like these two by themselves, without fusing, can destroy anything.
Just about, even though I think, but I am hoping that they're gonna like start training together or something. Like I'm hoping that they're gonna end up being more integrated.
Well, I'm just hoping that they, at the very least, grow up.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be getting younger in their personalities.
Oh,
You know,
Lord.
I'd love to see them start getting a little bigger, a little older.
Yeah, it'd be great to see adult Gotenks.
You know, because at this point, I think Gohan was bigger than them. So they should be like pure, like I get it, the pure Saiyans, they look like little kids longer, but these are half humans, so they should start looking a bit older already.
Yeah, definitely. Lordy, lordy, lordy.
Yeah, I can go
Well,
on and on.
I'm sorry. No, I was just saying, looks like it's getting about that time that we should start wrapping it up because, you know, I only got about an hour in me before I start winding down. But I love this talk and I'd love to do it again sometime if you're down.
I'm down. We'll talk.
Awesome, awesome. And for everybody who's going to be watching this in the replays, tell them where they can find you.
Well, for right now, let's just say come find me on Twitter at Mr. MVQ Boy. MRMVQBOY. And
Excellent.
everything you need to do to find me will be there.
Excellent. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at Knights Outlaw. And you can also find me here on the Fusebox channel. And be sure to check out Outlaw Knights issue 1, still in demand on Indiegogo. I got to start raising some funds together because we got to get cracking on issue 2. I'm ready. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I loved this talk. And everybody, have a great night.
Bye.